No one ever plans to visit the night market. You do not hear about it from elders, and no map has ever marked its location. It does not rise for the curious or the brave. It comes only for those who are already lost, not lost in the way a traveler loses a road, but lost in the way a soul forgets where it belongs. Those who find the market usually do so after midnight, when the world is quiet enough for regrets to speak. The night Adewale found the market, the moon was gone. He had been walking for hours, though he could not remember when he started. His feet moved out of habit, his mind heavy with a grief he could not explain to anyone, not even himself. Once, he had been known for laughter. People said his voice could lift a room, but loss has a way of stealing sound from a man, and now silence followed him like a shadow. Then the air changed. The road beneath his feet softened, as if the earth itself was breathing. A warm glow appeared ahead, small at first, then growing brighter. Lanterns, hundreds of them floated above wooden stalls arranged in long, winding rows. Fabric canopies swayed though there was no wind. The smell of spices, smoke, rain-soaked wood, and something older, something forgotten hung in the air. Adewale stopped. He knew, without being told, that this place did not belong to the living world. Yet his feet carried him forward. The market was alive. Vendors stood behind their stalls, smiling politely to politely. Their eyes were open but distant. Some had shadows that moved a moment slower than they did. Others had no shadows at all. No one shouted prices. No coins clinked. No animals cried. And yet, people shopped. A woman held a small bottle filled with golden light, tears streaming down her face as she nodded in gratitude. A young man clutched a folded cloth to his chest, whispering thank you over and over again. Aduel's heart pounded. "What is this place?" he asked. A vendor smiled gently. "A market," he said, "for those who have nothing left to lose." Adewale walked past stalls filled with impossible things. A mirror that showed not your face, but who you could have been. A jar labeled sleep without dreams. A small cage holding a beating shadow. At the far end of the market, one stall stood apart. There was nothing displayed, only a single lantern and an empty wooden table. Behind it sat an old woman with eyes as still as water that had never known wind. "You are heavy," she said before Adewale could speak. "You've been carrying pain for too long." His throat tightened. "I didn't come to buy anything," he said, though he knew it was a lie. She nodded. "None of you ever do. What do you sell?" Adewale asked. "Whatever you are missing." His hands trembled. "I want peace," he whispered. "I want the ache to stop. I want to wake up and not feel like something has been torn out of me." The woman studied him for a long moment, then placed something invisible into his hands. At first, he felt nothing. Then warmth spread through his chest. The ache loosened, dulled, and disappeared. For the first time in years, Adewale breathed without pain. "What is the price?" he asked. "Something you will not miss. Tell me what it is. If I tell you," she said softly, "it will lose its value." Adewale thought of the long nights, the silence, the grief. "I accept." The woman touched his forehead, and the market vanished. Adewale woke in his bed, sunlight spilling through the window. The grief that once crushed his chest was gone. He smiled. He laughed. Weeks passed, and his life improved. Opportunities appeared. People were drawn to him again. Yet something was wrong. When others laughed, he smiled but felt nothing. When music played, it sounded flat. When memories surfaced, they felt thin, like stories told by strangers. One night, he stood before a mirror and noticed something chilling. His reflection smiled before he did. He searched for the market again, night after night, but the lanterns never returned. Years later, an old man sat by a fire telling children a warning. "Somewhere," he said, "there is a market that appears only to the lost. It will give you what you desire most, but it will take what makes you human." A child asked, "What does it take?" The old man stared into the fire. "Whatever you believe you can live without." And far away, beneath a sky without a moon, lanterns flickered to life once more. The night market was open again, waiting.